Hello, I'm Bill Alderson, coming to you today from GotQuic, our new YouTube channel. Very first video. Here we go. Now, I'm talking about some things that might be somewhat controversial to some people, but we're going to power through it, and you're going to be the beneficiary, and you're going to get to use the information that I'm providing. Ever had slow internet? Take a look at that circle. It's spinning, sometimes slow. We've all experienced it, and we are working on new ways, and I'm going to talk to you about one of them today. The Internet Standards Committees have been working feverishly to bring you new, higher speeds. And one of those protocols is called Quic, very aptly named. Now, on the right, you see that Quic is stopped from its performance over on the right because of security concerns, and I'm going to talk to you about those as well. Almost 10% of Google's traffic is using Quic, getting 3 to 10 times speed improvements, but it's still experimental. I'm going to talk to you about all of these different things because I believe the people need to know what their options are, and they can make the decision. Here we go. Accidentally discovered in 2012 by a Google employee doing research on a weekend project. Yes, it happens like that. He determined that this test resulted in faster performance, and now I'm here to prove to you through packet analysis and detailed statistics that yes, indeed, Quic is 3 times faster just on connects. Now, on top of that, it can be 10 times faster for some web pages. And as we develop and move forward with these protocols, 5G coming into play, I'm looking at 100 times faster applications running, and that's over the air. Think about what can be done in your network or on your wired network across the internet. Very, very promising capabilities. I've not been an advocate for telling everyone about this until today. Why? The standards just dropped a new version of the protocol just a few weeks ago. This is what people do. This is what the standards bodies do to help all the developers understand what's coming and let the firewall vendors know what they have to do to fix security issues, and on we go. But the performance is mind-boggling. You're going to want to try it out. So this is a do-it-yourself, how to supercharge your internet with an experiment that you can do yourself. All you have to do is change one setting in your browser. Now, I've investigated networks since 1980. I know that that's before many of you were alive. Yes, I do know that. And through network analysis and protocol analysis, starting at Lockheed in 1980 and going on to Network General, the first company to develop a network sniffer. And actually, that becomes the name of a packet analyzer today by default. Very much like Kleenex is a tissue, and we often call a tissue a Kleenex, an analyzer is called a sniffer. Now, until Quic is finalized by the standards bodies, it's almost like an attractive nuisance because inside big organizations, using Quic opens up some protocols that are not, well, let's just say this, you have to exercise extreme caution and judgment on whether you use it or not. You can learn to turn Quic off in every enterprise network by going to your firewall vendors, whether it's Palo Alto or Cisco, Fortinet, Checkpoint, all of them give you instructions for how to turn off Quic. Now, I'm talking to the entire public. Why? Because you can turn this on and use it like many others are today in your homes or over at Starbucks, or when you have some reason to really get fast performance, you can turn it on experimentally, do it yourself. Google, YouTube, Gmail, Facebook, Microsoft, Cloudflare have all deployed this on their server side for years. That's why up to 10% of Google's traffic is already using Quic, getting 3 to 10 times performance, but not the average public. The problem is, and I'll go through it in more detail and I'll tell you again the reasons why, there is some security risk using the type of protocol that Quic rides on top of. And I'm going to give you all those details. But this performance increase that is received is a compelling reason, number one, for the public to know what it is and what's coming. Number two, for you to be able to decide and experiment so you can see what it's like. You can test it out yourself, and I'm going to show you how to do that today. Now, rural users usually are the last ones to get anything. In this particular environment, the rural people get the best and highest gains. Amazon and Yahoo contend that low latency boosts gross revenue by up to 1%. Are you kidding? That's an enormous number. And it's a huge motivation to implement. That's why so many people are already using it, but you aren't. But you're going to be able to make that decision for yourself today. Here's the thing. BLUF, bluff. Bottom line up front, folks. Quic is 3 to 10 times faster. 100 times faster potentially in the future with 5G in making apps so much faster. 5G actually cannot work very well, and you will waste the available bandwidth because you can't use it. Why? Well, that's what protocols do. They overcome latency across high-speed networks so that you can indeed get full performance of the link that you bought. So you could buy very fast internet even right where you're sitting and pay extra amounts to get gig or beyond and not be able to use it. Why? It's because of your protocol. It's an old protocol. It's almost 50 years old. So thankfully, the internet bodies have decided that they're going to bring on a brand new technology that the IETF, Internet Engineering Task Force, is promulgating through the standards process, and they have gone through several years. Here's the thing. Take a look at the left. TCP. Before you can send a packet and get a web page, down at the bottom, HTTP, that's what gets your web page. That's the command to go get a web page from a browser. But before it can do it, it has to set up a TCP connection and it has to set up an SSL connection. You know, in networking speak, that takes a long time because the packets have to volley across a high latency network. The further you are, the longer it takes. I've given an example here and said, look, if TCP takes 100 milliseconds and SSL takes 100 milliseconds and HTTP takes 100 milliseconds, that's 300 milliseconds. That's 1/3 of a second. And in computer speak, that's a long time. Now, over on the right, there's a brand new protocol coming, and it's called Quic. Now, I'll talk to you a little bit more about details later, and in other videos that I do, deep dives into this technology for security pros, for vendors, and other such people. Remember, I've been doing this for 40 years. So my experience across 40 years in major corporations, going to the Pentagon immediately following 9/11 to lead a team to recover communications at the Pentagon, yep, that was me. While everybody else was sitting around wondering what to do, I was at the Pentagon bringing it back up. And later, I even went to Iraq and Afghanistan 6 times to help bring up applications across a very difficult network to run things on. I've also gone out to stock markets, the U.S. stock markets, when they were melting down with security denial of service. And I, with my protocol analyzer, my sniffer, came in, put my packet analyzer on the wire, determined what the problem was, told them how to mitigate it, and boom, all the stock exchange that were being hit used my solution, and solved the problem really quickly. Prior to that, all the king's horses and all the king's men were already there trying to solve it. It was protocol analysis, looking at the packets and determining what was wrong. Now, that's my credibility. Not to mention I've trained 50,000 people in 27 countries and certified 3,500 network forensic security professionals. Yep, that's me. That's who's talking to you. So don't take it lightly. I've looked at a lot of packets and I know what I'm talking about, and I back it up with hard evidential proof. Over on the right, you have the Quic protocol. Now on the left, those protocols were developed with different groups, different working groups, independently at different times. They did not collaborate and build those protocols at the same time. On the right, Quic is what we've learned over the years to optimize. So whereas TCP has to go across the network and then SSL goes across the network and then you do your web page get, Quic combines all of those systems. It works awesome because it was developed all together. So here we go. We've got Quic. It just takes the TCP function, the SSL function, and HTTP, combines them into one, pop, goes over. It doesn't need to do them serially. It does it in one request reply. It puts multiple requests in one packet. Why didn't we think of this before? Well, we are all using networks like never before, and we've found ways to optimize. These guys are brilliant, and it's really awesome to see 3 to 10 times performance improvement. Now, if you have 5G in the future or you have high-speed networks, believe it or not, they can't use the very bandwidth that you've been given or that you can use. That is why we need protocols. They overcome certain types of latency by sending packets of unacknowledged data to get acknowledged later, but they give big credit limits on both sides so they can consume massive amounts of bandwidth across high-speed, high-latency networks. That's what we're talking about here. Now, packet by packet, I break it all down. I have a report written with all these details for those of you who really want to be in the know. I understand the average John Q public doesn't really care about this, but you probably do care that you're hearing this from a professional who has benchmarked the protocol right down to the last bit. So here on the left, we have Quic going across the network. Over on the right, we have TCP. And down on the bottom, I summarize all those statistics, and you can see Quic is green on almost every topic. Whereas TCP took 13 connections to get this one little page, Quic used only one. You're looking at firewalls having at least a 10-to-1 reduction in the number of sessions it has to keep track of once we start moving into Quic. That's huge. Those firewall vendors are going to love it. And your packets will go through faster as well because it will be less CPU to look up whether a packet is supposed to be there or isn't supposed to be going through your firewall. Okay. However, it's still experimental, so be careful. Instead of using TCP, Quic uses UDP. It's just a simpler protocol. However, people might think, well, UDP is unreliable and TCP is reliable. Don't I want a reliable protocol? Well, those functions are, in fact, embedded in the Quic protocol. There's nothing missing. There's better error recovery, better session setup, and it works much, much better. It's very well thought out. But today's firewalls are kind of blind to Quic. Well, not completely, but a little bit more blind than they are with TCP. TCP is definitely safer right now. However, UDP is what you use to stream movies. We do it all the time. And so it's still somewhat safe, but not as safe as using TCP with advanced firewalls that does deep packet inspection to figure it all out, especially in large corporations. So security is not yet assured, but the standard plus vendor and the vendors, the firewall vendors, and time needed. You see, when they set this standard up and send it out, the vendors have to now know, okay, this is how we're going to do it. And there are certain invariables, things that don't change. Well, once the standard gets to a point where things aren't changing, so it would cost a firewall vendor $1 million to upgrade a firewall, why would they do it only 6 months later to have a new spec released that invalidated all the work that they did for $1 million in order to support Quic? So once the standard starts to reach stability and there are invariables, things that don't change, the vendors can now confidently spend money to support it. And that's what's happening. Now we've got a lot of invariables and we know what's going on. So the firewall vendors can build very good solutions. Now, Quic is secure. Between your client and your server, just as secure and maybe even more than TCP. It's just the firewalls that don't yet know how to look at it. So I'm going to talk to you about that, and I'm going to put you in the know. So here we go. Middle boxes, which are firewalls, are blind to Quic. They can't see it. So consequently, because of that, some of the security is missing. It's okay. It's going to be all right. We're going to fix it, and Quic is going to be better. But right now, the security you get is about the same as a movie streaming capability, not the same as very secure information exchange. So right now, we're looking at things like Google and Facebook, Gmail, search. Those things are already using Quic, but you're not. Why? Because it requires a little bit of a change. And as these things develop, they're going to get safe and it's going to be fine. It's just now it's experimental and you're lowering your security a little bit by using the UDP. Now, it's still in use. Almost 10% of Google traffic is there. That's why I'm bringing this to the public. Why? Because I think that you have a right to know. And of course, if you need to know about tools to identify security issues. So I'm going to talk to you about those sort of things. And on my page, there's links and that sort of thing where you can figure this out. And we'll continue to do research to help you understand its usage and pitfalls. We're even working on a certification program for that, which is almost readily available. There's a huge market opportunity. If you look at 500 million firewalls around the world, do the math. It's almost $1 trillion boost to the world's economy to build Quic into firewalls and security capabilities. And everyone who participates is, one, going to be rewarded with better security and faster networks. But we're going to have to upgrade some things along the way. And so until some of those things are upgraded, I still give you the warning to be careful, move forward with knowledge. Now, on the subject of who's using Quic across the enterprise, who's using it? Well, how do you know? Well, I do analysis of lots of big corporations, and here's one. And all I do is take a little trace off of a firewall or at a router or something of that nature, a tap. And then I pull those packets out and I load them into this system. And boom, it shows me around the world and inside the corporate network where people are who are using Quic. And then it gives me a list of all those people who are using Quic that I give to the security people so that they can determine if they want them to use it or don't want them to use it because of the various security and what they may or may not be using Quic to access and use. So it's still kind of a decision as to whether corporations use Quic today. And if you are using it, you need to make sure that you're taking into account what's going on. Now, one of the things that we're doing is we have this brand new conference coming in May of 2021 called Quic.show. That's all you have to put in your browser is quic.show. It's a show or a conference so that vendors and developers, corporate IT people, professionals can get together and collaborate, not to build the standard. That's the IETF. This is to see how to deploy it, what the pitfalls are, what vendors are bringing new products, and an opportunity for the vendors to bring out their new Quic certified products to the marketplace. So that's what it is. Now, what can middle boxes see in Quic packets? This is an analysis with my sniffer to help you see what middle boxes can actually observe in Quic packets. And in the future, they can use this information so that they can make Quic as safe or safer than TCP. Thanks for taking a look at this. I know you may not be technical, but you just need to understand the big picture. Now, what security fixes are needed? Enterprise firewalls, they need to be able to do deep packet inspection. Every time in a large corporation that your packet goes out to a web server and then a reply comes back, your firewall checks to make sure it's a legitimate HTTP packet by looking deep into the packet to make certain that it doesn't contain malware or some form of virus. Yes, so you do in large environments or very high security environments, you do need to do advanced work and you need to support the Quic security capabilities. Home routers and firewalls need to, at some point, better identify Quic and do a better job of discriminating on the packets that are coming in to your environment. Now, all of this is technically possible. Quic is going to be more secure than TCP in the future, but it's just not quite there. And it could cost $1 trillion and take 10 years to get this working. So there's a huge firewall and router opportunity coming almost within the next 6 or 12 months. Now, what you wanted to hear. This is the part that you need to listen to if you're a do-it-yourselfer and you want to own your own destiny and you want to see what Quic will do. Go to your Chrome browser, and in the URL bar up at the top, as I've indicated in step 1, type in Chrome://flags. Hit return. Now what you're going to see is a whole bunch of stuff that starts with QUIC. Well, QUIC-K also is included in that. That's not what you want. You only want QUIC, as I have highlighted there in purple. Now, once you see that particular experimental protocol, you move over to the right, and you'll notice that it is disabled by default. Well, why do they disable it by default if it's so good? Well, if Google turned it on by default, and one of those little security level things was not quite kosher, and a big enterprise or somebody got hacked because of that, Google might become responsible. So nobody's going to turn this on until the standard is complete and security is assured. You understand? It's still, in development and it hasn't been brought to the public. So we enable it on our browser and boom, hit the relaunch button, and now you're cruising the web 3 to 10 times faster using the Quic protocol. Where can you go? You can go to any Google product. You can go to Facebook, Cloudflare, and Microsoft is even starting to use it apparently to access your files. And it's in the Windows builds. People have identified it and found it, and it's been confirmed. Here's the thing, it's not ready for prime time, but this is what the industry does. They look at things, they test things, they let the market test a little bit, and then see where that market goes. This is how to enable Quic. Be careful and enjoy the do-it-yourself experiment at your own risk. So here's quick proof. Now remember I told you about sniffers? Those are things that do packet analysis. You can download it, Wireshark, from wireshark.org, and you can pull it up and you can run this. I don't recommend it for end users, but if you're an IT professional, yeah, go to wireshark.org, install it. It's free. It's open source. It's highly trusted, and it's updated almost weekly or every couple of weeks because it's a development tool. As a matter of fact, it just got a major upgrade just a few weeks ago. Why? Because the standard just dropped at the end of October, November, and they had to change some of the Quic parsers so that the packets could be understood better. And here in this, you will see, if you look carefully right in the middle of your page, you'll see Quic. And that tells you that you are indeed using the Quic protocol between you and whoever you're talking to. And so this is something that I have been doing for a long time, and I write a column on it at SecurityInstitute.com called On the Wire. I've been doing this and talking about this since 1989, since I've been writing the On the Wire. I've had columns in Network Computing Magazine and other places about my On the Wire experiences. So here you go. You can get on the wire too. Now, here's bottom line what you can do depending upon what group you fall into. If you're a personal or home user, make sure you update your router and firewall frequently. Use Quic very carefully. Watch what's going on, and join the news list at GotQuic.com, and of course subscribe to my channel here. It's my first video. Do a guy a favor. Click the subscribe button so that whenever I drop a new video about Quic, your browser will ding and let you know I've dropped a new video that you're going to be compelled to learn about. Maybe it's not your interest in protocols or speed. Maybe you're a market guy. This is going to be a market mover. Trust my words. This is going to be huge. So don't let just the big 1%er vendors participate. Let's get everybody involved. So instead of just one vendor like the pandemic here, we're developing all of these vaccines. Let's have a whole bunch of them and let everybody compete and find the very best thing. That's what we want. We want lots of vendors involved. We want lots of people involved so that we can make certain that when we fully implement Quic, it's the best it could possibly be. So keep around, and not only do we have a YouTube video channel that you're watching, but we have a website companion called GotQuic, and we have lots of resources and information on there for you. If you're at a work or school environment and you test out Quic, please let your IT people know, especially if it works, because they might be open to some security vulnerabilities that they're not yet aware of, or they haven't made the decision as to whether to allow Quic or not to allow Quic. Be careful. This is an area where people love to shoot the messenger. That's why I said it's a little controversial, and I'm risking a little bit, but I'm risking by putting this information in the hands of people who are smart, not allowing the vendors to completely control what does and doesn't happen. Okay, so I've warned you about that, but please do it. Make sure you let people know what's going on. They'll get over it, and they'll thank you later. Security professionals, you need to learn about Quic. Here's the thing, 200 pages in that spec, another 300 pages in associated Quic specs. I have spent weeks just reading voraciously all of these specifications so that I can bring to you a consolidated, concise thing. Now, the first time you read a protocol spec, you will not get it. It will not be good, and you will hate it. It will put you to sleep. For me, I'm energized. Why? I've been working with it for 40 years. I understand how not only TCP/IP works, which came out really and started getting implemented in the late 80s, But before that, I was running IBM SNA, Xerox XNS, Novell IPX, all Banyan 3Com, Vines, all of these different protocols. So I understand the variations and how the evolution of protocols have come. And now we evolved all of those proprietary protocols over to TCP/IP, which we all run today, called the internet. But guess what? It's now evolving. Those protocols are growing on 50 years old. It's time for an upgrade, and here we're going to get it. So you need to know what tools to identify Quic users with. You can go take a look at those. Get certified in Quic at SecurityInstitute.com. Great course coming January 1st. And prior to that, if I get lots of people who buy that course, I'm going to do live training sessions with you. And even if you can't make it, I'll give you the video. So if you sign up for one of those courses, you're going to get the best possible information, great details, all the information in how this protocol works and the research that I've done. And then I'm going to keep that upgraded for a year. Now, you should also take a look at Quic.show. That is the conference that we're putting together in May of 2021. It's going to be great. I've had conferences in the past. I had Network Forensics Day at Networld Interop years ago, and hundreds of people would come, and we'd talk about packet sniffers and analyzers, and all the big analyzer companies would come, and we'd have a big lab doing the same thing. But this is 2.0. We're going to do it better, nicer, faster. Hopefully all the vendors will be there, and we'll have a great time with you, the vendors, developers, corporate security people. So take a look at quic.show. Just put quic.show in your browser. Boom, you're there. Just a small amount of information for now, but by the first of the year, you'll have everything you need to know to sign up, exact dates, what we're doing, what the agenda is, and that sort of thing. Now, if you're a vendor, let us know what products you're going to bring to market that you want to make sure get out to everyone in the world. So this is the channel right here, GotQuic, and we are going to bring all this information as it comes. I'm going to be your man on the street. We are going to go out and find every excruciating detail and the big picture, and we're bringing it to you. So whether you're an investor, a vendor, you name it, we are going to be your resource for quick information. Now, get Quic certified. If you're a vendor, make sure your engineers understand the protocol. The best way to do it is to get certified with that Quic certification, and we can help you with that very rapidly. Hey, thank you for listening to my very first YouTube channel video. I know it's a little bit long, 33 minutes, but guess what? I've delivered the goods. I'll have some shorter videos for you as well, so you won't have to consume this size of video. This is my first one, so I apologize if it's a little bit long, but hey, it's been great getting to know you. I look forward to those of you who are sniffer aficionados, you know, the thousands of people that I've trained over the years. I hope you're there listening and hearing that your job of packet analysis is coming of age. It's important, and you know, the wire never lies. So always watch what's on the wire.